Do you think in our lifetime we're going to Mars?
Well, the planned manned mission to Mars is like 2030 something.
Yeah, 2032, I think.
But then, yeah, because I know SpaceX wants to send someone to Mars, but their one's earlier than NASA's one. NASA wants to send people to Mars as well.
What do you reckon, H?
I reckon they will. I mean, it's interesting when you look at a film like The Martian, although it's obviously quite a crazy idea, the idea that they have someone who's marooned on Mars and they managed to obviously sustain themselves in a little sort of space station / pod thing.
I love it.
It's a brilliant film. It's such a good film, really.
He
does it so well, that film. He does it really well.
He does. But no, I don't think that's too far away. I think I say obviously this as if people are going to be able to grow potatoes on Mars. I think that might be a little bit further away, but certainly the idea that we'll send people there. I don't think that's too far off.
To be fair, I don't think I could grow a potato in a shed here. So don't send me.
Especially now they've got those rockets that land themselves. And all
that's
that
crazy, man. I think we'll get there even faster than we probably think, and the reason being is it's so much there's so much private investment in it now for the financial gain in the end. And I think that has really catapulted us towards a much faster trajectory of getting out into the solar system, because when private business is involved, no matter what your personal views on whether you agree with big business or whatever, but at the end of the day, that does make things go faster because it's a competition between these companies, and they want to be the first people to do it, and they make the money.
Yeah, all they need to do is invent better fuel sources or better engines to use in space to get them going quicker, and they'll be fucking laughing.
But then, even now with what we have, if you have a base on the moon, it's actually not that. It's not going to be that much. In comparison to
it won't cost as much for a rocket to take off from the moon as it would to Earth. But I mean, when I say better engines, I mean more powerful engines that can get them there faster than everything we've got available at the time. And different fuel sources. Still got burn stuff and shit.
They're thinking of putting basically hydrogen. So basically, we'll take the hydrogen out of the atmosphere and that will be their fuel. So basically, send forward to Mars these units. Obviously, this isn't a scientific way of describing it, but they send these units that will basically take the hydrogen, and that will create the fuel to return back to Earth.
So that's almost farming the fuel.
Yeah, but it will
take... Is there hydrogen in Mars's atmosphere, though?
I'm pretty sure they want to use hydrogen. Let me just Google it. But beforehand, a trip to Mars would take around 7 months. So my question to Hayley first would be, are the astronauts going to travel awake, or are they going to look to put them in a sleep? What would you think they're going to do?
The thing is, people will go up and they'll survive, or they'll live in the space station, and they'll be awake for that, aren't they? When they obviously transport you up there, and obviously
live up there for X amount of time.
So the trip to Mars is just slightly longer than the time that they spend on the space station.
Yeah, they won't put them to sleep yet.
Sorry, Hayley, Karen.
No, I don't really think they keep them awake, because obviously I'd imagine 7 months of not sleeping, what would you have to be connected up to in order to preserve yourself? It just makes you worry and wonder. So I think they'd be awake.
You think awake?
When I was a kid and I knew how long it took to get to Mars, I was like, could I go to Mars and get back in time for my birthday? Because I was like, I want to go to Mars, but I don't want to miss my birthday when I was a kid. And I was like, there's no way it can happen. I can't go to Mars and get back in time for my birthday because it takes too long.
No, I don't think you can. So to correct it, basically, how will future? I searched on just Google. What fuel source will they use to return from Mars? So according to a new study, they could make rocket fuel from methane. Sorry, not hydrogen. That's already on the red planet. Researchers have devised a new way to create a methane-based rocket fuel that they hope will make the return trips from Mars more feasible
and more cost-effective.
Yeah. Mine, what do you reckon? Sleep or awake to Mars?
Awake. They don't have the technology to put people to sleep for that long yet.
No, they're studying it though, aren't they?
Yeah, they're studying it for years. We can't cryogenically freeze people yet, or put people in a hypersleep sort of thing, like they have in Aliens, they wake up in these tubes.
Could we not just
have you even seen Aliens?
No, it's too scary for me. It's too scary for me, mine. I can't watch much scary films, so Alien probably
Not a
not.
scary film.
Alien is. It's got jumpy scenes.
You really are a wimp, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Oh, no.
But my point, so could we not theoretically just put them in like an induced coma? We know how to do that.
But who's going to get? I mean,
You create a machine. You create a machine that when you send the signal, you bring them out of the induced coma.
Okay, but
it depends on how complicated it is to do that. I think they would have to have.
It's NASA. If they're going to Mars, have they not worked out a little pulley system for a needle going in someone's arm?
I don't think so. I think they have to be awake.
You reckon?
Then obviously, a lot of astronauts literally love their job. They love the idea of being out in space. So they might not want to miss out on the opportunity of being awake to be able to see whatever else they can see on this unprecedented journey to go to Mars. And it's really interesting. There's a documentary on Netflix at the moment. I think it's narrated by Will Smith. And it's astronauts talking about things they've noticed about the world when they've been looking down on it from the space station or wherever else. And you can only imagine what they might learn from Mars or other planets. Or I say other planets, like you'd be near them. But yeah, I think they'd be able to take in or find out so many new things. And they wouldn't be able to do that if they were asleep or in a coma-induced state.
Yeah, that's true. I think they'd definitely be awake and have like research to do whilst they're going out there. It wouldn't be just like, let's sit here and twiddle our thumbs for 7 months.
But would they not just say, right, look, get your research done, have a nap, we'll wake you up just before we get there, do a bit more research, land down, have a sandwich, let's crack on.
Yeah, but then there's everything in between. They can do loads of research whilst they're on the way and stuff. So even a guy like what you said about like the astronauts from the space station, there's on Twitter, there's a couple of things I follow that have like, they regularly post like pictures and stuff from the space station. Some of the pictures are just insanely amazing. But there's one recently about the like what the sunset looks like, where they literally call it like half day and half night, and then like the glowy red in between where it's hitting the clouds and stuff. Look cool. I screenshot it.
As well, they have they see different swarms of colours in the oceans, and at first they didn't really understand what that was. But there's microbacteria in the oceans that eat the waste product of, I don't know, when rain washes through stones and all that sort of thing, and then obviously goes down to the sea level. These microorganisms eat the bacteria and eat all the sort of dirt that comes down. And you can't see it from our eye view. So obviously, if you're looking at the sea, you wouldn't notice. But being up in the space station, they can see all these beautiful greens, pinks, blues, whatever, that are circulating and swarming through the oceans.
I think the oceans actually, like, you know, is a little off topic, but I generally think like the oceans could be, if we spent more time exploring them, they'd be mad what we'd find. Like, because like they say we know more about space than our oceans, don't they?
Yeah, we know more about the moon than our own oceans, because that's just so deep and vast.
So I did watch a documentary, and they were talking that they might go more down the route of trying to put the astronauts to sleep for the mere fact that obviously when they're on the space station, they're doing their studies, they're doing their research and everything like that. But the difference is the psychological fact that they can always see Earth. And within a few months of their trip into going to Mars, they won't be able to see Earth. And they just don't know how that's going to affect the astronauts.
You see so many films about that, you know, like space paranoia and all that jazz.
Yeah. Could you imagine if you're like, you know, like how you see Mars, if you look in the sky and you can see Mars, how you see Mars, looking back and going, that's Earth. I can't see Earth. And you're just, it's just in the distance, it's just going and going and going. It could freak you out, like.
Probably could, yeah, to be fair. There's like, you don't know, it's like, sometimes like being at sea, when some people get a bit weird when they're at sea and they've been at sea for a long time and they can't see land or anything. And they're just like, you know, but you imagine like being in space. But at least if you fell into the sea, you'd be all right. If you fall into space, you're screwed.
Well, it doesn't matter how much of an educated person you are. We've all seen those space films. We all see the disaster that happens. We all know someone ends up getting marooned on a planet somewhere, and they've got to find the hero in themselves and get themselves back. So I just think there's so many things you'd be thinking, oh my God, did I just hear an engine break? Oh, did that technology or did that bit of equipment break? Oh, Armageddon, come on.
Martin
There's like space paranoia films where, like, I can't remember what it's called. It begins with P. It's like, Jesus, it's really gonna bug me because I can't remember what this film's called. And basically, they were on a trip to like another world, like it's a long trip, but they got like this sickness where they were like just paranoid about everything, and basically the whole crew just turned on each other. And a guy had woken up from hypersleep, and well, they'd been in space for so long, all the other people on the ship had like mutated, and they thought they were still in space. And he like by the end of it, he like ejected out on an escape pod, but then found out that the ship was already at its destination, but crashed and was in the ocean of that new planet, and everyone had been there the entire time. I watched another one recently as well where they'd all gone insane on a ship, but they'd just been they were on a ship, and then they found out Earth had been destroyed, and they were stuck there, and they were just going mental.
I think that's the biggest thing that's going to get like whoever goes there is the vast distance and actually how far you're like, wow, I'm a long way away. I'm a long way away.
Wow, 7 months are quite a commitment, and that's just one way.
Yeah.
Imagine thinking to yourself, like, come on, we've all been in like on holiday. Say you're in America and you're thinking, fuck, I've got a long flight to get home, and I know it's really going to time me out. And you just think you've got 7 months to try and get home.
Not even.
Admittedly, if you're asleep, it's better, but
not even the thought of the honey roasted cashew nuts get me through it. But you ain't even going to have that on the rocket to Mars. You know what I mean? You're going to be
sitting there drinking your own pee for like 7 months.
And pate.
Oh.
Pate, yeah.
And the thing is,
I had that weird astronaut ice cream once as well. That's just not very nice.
Yeah, no, freeze-dried fruit isn't the best, is it?
I feel like as well, if I fell out with someone on the ship and I knew I was drinking their pee, I'd be more annoyed. Because I'm like, whatever, man, we fell out, but you're drinking my pee, but then I know I'm drinking his pee or her pee.
Literally.
Do you know what I mean?
You know someone would chuck that in an argument. It's like, shut up, man, you're drinking my pee anyway.
What the thing is, so if you had a chance to, like, let's say they've gone to Mars and they've started building a colony and everything like that. Let's say you were offered to go to Mars. Let's say the trip as well was made faster, so you didn't have to do 7 months. Would you go to Mars?
No.
Yeah, I'll totally go. I'll be like, man, I'm a Martian.
Technically, you're not a Martian. It would be a while before the first Martian
like,
born.
I'm Martin the Martian. Just jumping up and stuff.
Yeah, the first Martian. You're not technically a Martian until someone's born there.
I don't care. I would just break the rules. But like, nah, Martian.
Mine would go there and try and do that scene out of Gravity where, you know, like he's trying to catch... No, it's not Gravity. It's the movie The Martian where he's like, oh no, you're too far away and now I'm going to pierce my glove and fly around like Superman, and then mine just flies off into the fucking... off into the atmosphere. Like, I wasn't ready!
Off into the atmosphere. God, could you imagine like falling off a spacecraft or a space station and just floating into space with nothing you can do? You'd literally just go nuts. You'd be like, that's it, I'm just going to be stuck in my spacesuit now until I die.
Exactly, until you freeze or whatever else might happen.
Just float around.
Hayley, are you going or are you not going? Are you you yay or nay?
I'm not going.
You're not going?
You couldn't pay me enough money. Don't get me wrong, I'm fascinated by the universe. I think we live in an incredible place, and I love finding out weird facts. Like, I love the fact that it rains diamonds on Jupiter. I think that's amazing. That's cool. But do I want to go and check it out? No. Yeah. Do I want to find out about it from the comfort of my own house? Yes. I say house because we're housebound.
You can't go to Jupiter.
I would like to know about it.
You could go to a space station around Jupiter and be like, hey, what's down there?
Well, I think
I would just send Martin off, and then I'd be like, look, you can do a recce. Tell me all about it.
Skype me.
Skype me. You haven't aged horrifically.
And then I'll come back and I'll be like, I'm into space. And everyone will get on it. It'll be like when we went travelling. Everyone wants to hear about it for like the first week or so, and then afterwards they're like, oh, shut up about space.
Whatever, man. You drank your own pee.
Whatever. You went to space. Like Howard, you know.
Big Bang to speak about.
Yeah. I've been in space for the last year or so, man. That's all I can talk about.
What happens if you aged 10 years by going on your journey to Mars? Would you still go?
How would I age 10 years?
It's not a general realistic question. She's just giving you a scenario. It's a trade-off.
Yeah. If I was going to go and age 10 years, and no, I probably wouldn't go. If I was going to age like 10 years in the space of a year, I think I'll give it a miss.
What happens if everyone aged 10 years and you stayed the same age? When you came back, everyone else that you loved and knew had moved on by 10 years.
See, something like that could happen if you like approach the speed of light.
Or if Mars was near a black hole and didn't get sucked in it, because time works different near a black hole.
I mean, I wouldn't go if it was near a black hole, to be honest.
No, but I'm saying we're throwing scenarios around here that we must admit are a little bit off scientific fact.
I think Haley's one's better. Like if you like were to go close to the speed of light, time would slow down for you anyway. So that would be more. I mean, I'll probably. Would I go? Yeah, why not? It's only 10 years, isn't it? I'm still going to be the same age. I'll just be 10 years older.
To be fair, 10 years isn't a massive amount, so maybe like...
It's like 100 years. Actually, I probably definitely would go if it's 100 years. I'll like, see you later, everyone. I'm going to see what the future's like. And then come back and be infinitely depressed with how bad the future's got and be like, well, back to space.
Well, technically, the future might be better. Because... hopefully the human race keep learning lessons and getting better and better.
Potentially, could it be worse?
It could potentially be worse.
Potentially be Mad Max, but who knows?
Yeah, I have a feeling of Terminator 2, Robodyne.
If I come back and like it's Terminator, I'm just going to go straight back to space. I'm like, I told you, don't be playing with robots.
Yeah, it's still Haley ain't leaving.
There's so many reasons why you shouldn't go.
So 1 minute, Haley's like, I'm not leaving, but I'm thinking like Earth's going to turn into Terminator, but I'm still staying because I've got points on my Nando's card and I want to get me half chicken. Like, what?
Well, do you know what? I feel like if I'm here, I can do my best to make sure that we don't go into a world full of crazy apes that want to obviously take over, or I don't want them to let the robots take over. But if I'm not here, who's going to protect us? Who?
It's true, Martin's on Mars, so...
Exactly.
Yeah, I kind of wouldn't want to miss an apocalypse as well. Like, if it was going Mad Max way, I feel like I'd want to be here to witness it. But then I feel like I'd be more part of the problem than rather the solution.
Martin,
I think I'd be the person driving around the spiked up car, like, chasing people down, going to eat them.
Martin,
have you seen the movie This Is the End? With, like, Seth, where Danny, they meet him out and he's like a cannibal now. Yeah. I'd be like that.
Martin, you'd be the meat.
On a leash. Huh?
You'd be the meat.
If it was that you obviously travelled to Mars, everyone had aged 10 years, you came back, the funny thing is we'd probably still be in lockdown and we'd still be like, Martin, you didn't miss anything.
Tier 12.
Nothing. We're in lockdown 37. 37, that's not too bad. 37,000. Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Let's not say that.
That's a lot of lockdowns. Yeah, we've had like 6 a year the last 10 years. That doesn't equate to 30,000, but I know. But we've had a lot of lockdowns.
Let's say we've moved to Mars. What's the scenario? Are we basically living in large Kew Garden greenhouses that obviously we're hoping are a little bit thicker, or have we what's it called? I forgot the word. It's escaped me. What's the word? Say that again.
Terraformed.
That's it. Terraformed. Oh, have we terraformed Mars? What do you think? What would be the route we go?
You'd be living in glass.
Yeah.
Well, it depends when you're speaking. Like 100 years or so, we'd be living in glass bubbles because it would take a lifetime to terraform Mars.
What do you reckon, H?
Can you explain for anyone listening and for me, what does terraform mean?
Go on, Mark.
Terraforming is where you basically change the atmosphere of a planet to something more suitable. So if you terraform something like Mars, it'd be, I don't know how they'd do it. Like in the future, maybe they have big terraforming machines.
An atmosphere, basically.
There's a number of different ways that they've spoken about.
And change an atmosphere.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think
that's something we think about.
Potentially the first option that you said, but the only problem is obviously because it has no atmosphere, it's not protected from meteorites and all those sorts of things. So can you imagine you're going about your day? It's a happy Sunday on Mars, and then there's a meteorite shower. And there you go, bam! One's accidentally crashed into your greenhouse. That's it. You're gone.
Pretty much as well. But then,
if we're living on Mars, I think we've got a system that's going to be able to get rid of a meteor, though. If we're living on Mars and we've got to a point there's enough people there, I imagine we've got, because they actually recently, didn't they? They worked on landing rockets on a meteor, didn't they? And so if we're getting to that point, if we're then at Mars, I reckon we've got ways of just literally getting a rocket up and just not nudging it off course. I don't reckon we're too far from that.
Actually, there's technically an asteroid because they're not technically meteors until they touch the Earth. But apparently, there's an asteroid that's going to get pretty close to Earth in the next few years as well. Like when I say pretty close, I mean like a few hundred kilometers close. If it doesn't change course, then it will hit us.
I think it's further than a few hundred kilometers.
Is that to look forward to?
It's more than a few hundred kilometers, isn't it? It's got to be a few 100,000 kilometers.
No, it's going to pass like really close. Like it might be a few thousand kilometers, but it's not like I don't think it's even in the 100,000s. I might be wrong, but
this is as we said, guys, not a scientific view.
But it was, it's not scientific. I might be wrong. I'm pretty sure it's in like 2030 something or something, or it might be sooner. It might be 2020 something. It probably is 2020 something. How this decade's going. And it's supposed to be an asteroid that gets very, very close to Earth. Just gonna like give us a little as it goes by, just
little love tap. Here I am. Don't worry.
Hey Earth, in a little while.
Hey, how you doing?
Interesting though, because obviously it makes me wonder if it would be close enough to be affected by Earth's gravity. But I guess if it was close enough to be brought in, could that potentially spell the end for us? Maybe, but then we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the meteorite that obviously struck and obviously made the dinosaurs extinct. Maybe, so would it be quite fitting that we ended up going out the same way that we came in?
Maybe meteorites.
Apparently, they found like evidence to suggest that we were around the similar sort of time as the dinosaurs as well, that the meteor struck us back to ground zero. There's just humans that survived it. But then, if it got caught, but I think if this asteroid got caught in Earth's atmosphere, it wouldn't get caught by Earth's gravity and just come to Earth. I think it was more likely if it got caught by Earth's gravity, it'd slingshot it around and throw it off into the universe somewhere else.
Someone else's problem.
I understood it that the meteorite that hit Earth, it exterminated or it got rid of most of the dinosaurs, which then gave it gave us an opportunity to sort of evolve and adapt and become the race that we are. But obviously before then we didn't have a hope in hell because obviously we had been eaten by dinosaurs.
Well, they found like fossilized humanoid footprints in dinosaur footprints.
Did they?
And they found human architecture. You want to say like human stuff buried not as far back as the dinosaurs when they carbon dated it, but
Eiffel Towers.
They basically think that we're around a lot longer than we think we've been around. Basically,
interesting.
I'm googling. Were humans round with dinosaurs?
Oh, that's probably not a good thing to Google.
So Google's saying.
I can do it. I've got my computer right in front of me. I'm looking at pictures of.
So apparently, after the dinosaurs died out, nearly 65 million years passed before people appeared on Earth. However, small mammals, including shrews, shrew-sized primates, were alive at the time of dinosaurs.
Yeah, up to date though, because they reckon we survived on the ground.
Modern humans
most
are
of the
currently
cockroaches and crocodiles, etc., that managed to survive. They probably were under ground level, or obviously were underwater or whatever. So it's saying that most things. Well, I know mice survived, but most things were able to burrow if they were going to survive.
That's why they survived on the ground.
Everything was a lot rougher.
It would have been like us, obviously. Yep. Oh, maybe it was. Maybe it was like a hyper intelligent civilization, but they couldn't stop the meteor, and it wiped us out and just set us back to zero.
Yeah. So right, we're living on Mars. We've decided we don't really like it. It's not for us. We've had enough of this, right?
Let's go to Titan.
We're not going to Titan, but we just thought, you know what? 7 months weren't enough. We're going to get on the bus again, and we're going to travel to the edge, right?
Wait, we can't go to Titan, but we're going to the edge.
Yeah, because Titan's got a lot of problems. You know, like he's busy.
Mars?
Huh?
Not as many problems as Mars.
Well, Mars is, they could be chilling out and they're loving life, but
You could do a drive-by for Titan and just drop some people off or something, and be like, "Hey, go check it out," and then
all right,
as
we'll
we
do a
just
drive.
go off
We'll
and then carry on.
drop them off. Haley
And
needs
there's
a
something about
Nando's out
Saturn
here
as well.
Haley needs a Nando's out on Titan, so we're gonna drop some guys off to start getting work on the Nando's for the return back.
Thank you.
There's no Nando's in space.
There's no Nando's. Not well. There might be if we go out there.
Space
I
Nando's.
worry about the quality of the chicken if it's obviously been transported for 7 months and.
Well, they might be. They could be growing
Surprise.
chickens there.
Yeah,
Wow.
space chickens. We
Well,
space Nando's.
What could go wrong?
They'll go to Titan. That's where I reckon they're going to find. They're more likely to find life in our solar system is on Titan, under the ice and in the waters. We'll get some of their Titan fish, and then we'll make.
Do you reckon before we move on from Mars, are we when we get to Mars going to find any evidence or life on Mars?
No, maybe evidence of life, but not life there now.
Yeah, no. I'd say past tense, not current.
Not even underground?
No.
No, I don't think so. Because
not even a microbe.
A microbe, possibly.
But then
maybe something like that. But when you say life, that could be like
anything that's living is classed as life.
Yeah, so you don't mean intelligent life.
No, I'm just saying life in general. Like any
then
form of life.
Maybe something like if there's underground water supply. If there's underground water, there's probably more than life.
Well, there's frozen water on Mars, isn't there, underground?
Yeah, definitely. And obviously it would have had the conditions to support life approximately 1 billion years ago.
Yeah.
So
because it had a lot of water at the time, didn't it?
I feel like Haley's done some research for this.
No, this is all knowledge that I've been watching so many documentaries. I love saying.
Good for her, though. That's what you do proactive when you're going to a show about space.
You need to watch some space documentaries next time we hang out.
Yep.
Well, I think potentially there could be if there's any life on Mars, it might be in the ice at the poles, underground.
What do you do if they went to Mars and they found remains of not remains, old buildings and stuff, buried, ruins of something weird, and you got some pyramids underground or something. That's just but maybe they find it and it's the tip of the pyramid's sticking out of the sand. And they thought it was just a rock, and under closer inspection they find out that it's a pyramid, and they're like, oh man, maybe whoever built those pyramids built the pyramids on Earth, and then it's space stuff.
I mean, that sounds like the plot for a brilliant film, and I think that sounds amazing.
I feel like I may have got it from a film, or I've seen
it. Probably has got it from a film.
I'm pretty sure I've heard saying about pyramids on Mars. I'm going to Google pyramids on Mars because why not?
What websites have you been looking at, Martin?
Oh, all sorts.
I've realised that Martin might be the conspiracy theorist in the group.
I do like a conspiracy. To be fair, I do like a good conspiracy theory. Especially, oh my god, they've got pictures of. Oh no, that's edited one. Pyramids on Mars. Oh man, someone photoshopped the pyramids in the Mars rover. Dumbasses.
Also,
pyramid structures on Mars. Actually,
say that again.
There is pictures of pyramid-shaped structures on Mars, or the tops of them.
I did watch a documentary about explaining how people look for patterns in things, and therefore you can make you look at things and try your brain tries to make a pattern from them, and therefore things can seem like they are something they're not. Yeah.
Nerds do it all the time when they release clips or pictures of nerd films. Then look at this reflection. It could be the Joker's face or something. It's people really jump into conclusions.
In a way as well, one of the ways. Sorry, I meant to say that one of the ways that they could terraform Mars would be to set off nuclear devices at the poles.
Well, no, when they're talking about that on the Joe Rogan show as well, then it'd be way too. It wouldn't. I think they came to the thick conclusion that it wouldn't really work.
Yeah, so it would just take a long, long, long time. Yeah. And the problem is then you can't go to the poles or anything like that. And,
yeah, terraforming would take
a long time. But that's one of the things they're talking about. But I reckon, it's going to be greenhouse scenario. But anyway, we're getting on the bus. We're moving on. We're going towards the end. Where's the end? That's my question. Is where's the end? Does it end?
Catch up with Voyager 1 and 2.
So there again.
1, 2. I'm going to catch up with Voyager 1 or 2.
Say that again, Mark.
Are we going to catch up with Voyager 1 or 2?
Who knows? I don't know what Voyager 1 or 2 is.
You don't know what Voyager is? Are you actually serious?
Is that a movie?
No, the spaceship, Voyager.
Oh, well, they're not going to be called Voyager this time, are they?
No, I said we're going to catch up with... They're still out there now.
Oh, okay, I get you.
They're past that point. They've gone past Pluto. They're breaking out of the solar system.
We're not catching up, no. We're just coming behind.
But
they're not. No, they're not in front of us because we're taking the lead. We
will catch up. They're already way out of the atmosphere.
No, but then they haven't even left. We're first off Mars, out into the abyss. Oh yeah, yeah. No, we're changing the events. They're not even out there.
We're catching up with them. We can't change the events. We'll catch up with them and take them.
We deleted that part of history. They never left.
Delete that part. They never landed, did they? No.
They never left. It's just us. We've got to go out there and work out what's going on. We've got some Pop-Tarts and each other for company. What's going down?
Those Pop-Tarts are going to stale.
I'm not a fan of Pop-Tarts. I don't know why I said that, but...
No, I mean, I'm on board with it. It sounds fancy, it sounds fun, but it does not sound like it'd be delicious.
No.
Some, better food.
Yeah, Pop-Tarts aren't for me. But anyway, look, the food's sorted. You got what you like, all right? Anything you want can go. Huh?
Oh, can I get noodles to go?
No.
You can get super noodles everywhere. I don't like the idea of making my super noodles in someone else's wee. Boiling wee.
So gross.
I know it's not actually wee, but still, it's water made from wee.
Technically, we're eating wee on drinking wee on here anyway.
You probably
it's wee, isn't it? That we've obviously
because it's gone through
recycled process.
Yeah.
I'm drinking the wee of the clouds. Yes.
So technically, we are drinking. They say I can't remember how many times, but potentially, you at some point have probably drank recycled wee.
You've probably
every
recycled.
You have.
So say that again, Hayley.
Every glass of water that you have is it is dinosaur wee. So
is it dinosaur?
It is. It's been processed so many times that it is dinosaur wee. So at some point, drink up, guys. Get your H2O.
Technically, I'm a dinosaur then.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, 80% wee.
I've got short arms and legs. I'd definitely be a T-Rex. Well, no, I'd be a T-Rex just because of the short arms.
You need longer legs, but the arms you're short enough there for.
Yeah, so I got T-Rex arms. Should have stopped drinking the water.
Got T-Rex arms for legs as well.
That's hurtful.